Writing is work. It's like a marathon. You are running the race and you're having a great time at the beginning, but once you get into that middle, once you get to the halfway point, towards the end, you just want to give up because you're so tired. You're so exhausted. You want to be done. Why aren't you at the finish line yet? And that, my friends, is also the writing process. I'm not going to lie to you and say that writing is perfectly great and wonderful and so fun and amazing all of the time. There are moments where it definitely sucks because it's work, but work is worth doing still. I am currently very, it's going to be a very low key video because I am worn out. I am in the middle of so many revisions, and I thought I was so close to being done with this current book, and then more things keep changing. And more things keep changing. And it's nothing major. It's not like my main character doesn't work. It's the little things that really pile up. It's those moments where you feel like you're so close to being done with your project and you realize there's still a couple things missing. This needs to be tweaked over here. This needs to be tweaked over there. I'm going to be honest with you. The problem I'm currently dealing with as in writing is just not knowing where the finish line is for this project. My current work is book 1 of a series that tentatively is 5, maybe 6 books long. It could be longer. We'll see. It keeps growing. But it started off as a script. It started off as a one movie idea, was working on the script, and I thought, maybe a mini series. You know what? I'll turn it into a book. And that book turned into 3. And now we're sitting at planned for 5. We'll see how far it goes. But even finishing the first book of this series, it's just been a lot. When you're writing, when you're working on something, it's so easy to just get in the groove and to write and to finish your draft and go, yes, I finished a draft. Look at this. It's amazing. And that is a huge accomplishment. If you have finished a draft of any sort, especially a draft 0, especially your first one, that is a massive accomplishment. That is a lot of work. You did great. But the best books aren't written. They're rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. So we go to revisions to make what you have even stronger. You find the things that don't work, you fix them or you scrap them. There are, sometimes you'll write a draft 1 and realize that that's not actually your story. I think Sanderson said there were 3 different misborn primes. There were 3 different Vins. At one point his main character was a soldier's son or something, I think I remember him saying. But even experienced authors go through this. They have their idea, they write it down, and then it just doesn't work or needs a lot of tweaks. So many tweaks. And, it can feel discouraging. It can. Putting so much time and energy and effort into something and thinking that you're done, and then you take a step back and you look at it critically and realize, I'm not done yet. This still needs more work. And sometimes you also get so blinded because you're so close to it. It's like you can't see the problems anymore. And that's why I really recommend after you finish your first draft for at least 2 weeks. At least, I would recommend a month, but if you're like me, you're impatient and want to get back to it. But step away from the project entirely for at least 2 weeks. And when you get to a point where you have edited and revised and tweaked, and you're not quite sure what's working, what's not, that's when you should get an alpha reader involved. Find someone that you can trust to give you good feedback. There are, communities that you can find to alpha read for you, or find a friend that you trust to actually tell you if something is working or not working. This isn't you give it to a family member that goes, oh my goodness, you did so good. It's great. That's not helpful. We want critical feedback. We want criticism. We want to see what the problems are. But take time to step away from your project. That's what I have been doing in the past, is when I'm feeling burnt out with my project, I take time and I step back and I reread it and look through it critically and see what are the big picture pieces that I need to fix. But currently, I am in the middle of fixing all of those little details, of adding in more information about the magic system and about these really cool spirit bonded creatures that my characters interact with, and bringing out my main characters, my protagonist's internality more in the prose and in the dialogue. And yeah, I wrote a scene yesterday. I revised a scene yesterday. It was meant to be a super simple revision. I was going to go through and just make sure like the wording flowed and that kind of thing. And it ended up punching up the intensity of the scene so much. And this is the other thing. I'm a big outliner. If you are an outliner, a part of just writing to figure out what the story is a part of the writing process. I have reread, rewritten, reviewed this sequence dozens of times. Dozens of times. I know these characters really well. Okay? I know these characters really well. I have been working with them for 6 years now, and they will still surprise me. Because I didn't think these two characters would get into such a heated argument. And they have. But I realized I needed to build the tension in this sequence to make everything afterwards hit even harder and be even more impactful. And that's the beauty of revisions, is as you're going through it, you're still learning about your story. You're still figuring things out. And it is okay for your project to take a whole lot longer than you are anticipating, because I thought I would be done by now. Some projects just take time. And it's okay, especially if you're working on your first bigger work, whether it's a book or you're deciding to tackle a series for the first time. It's okay for projects to take longer than you expect. And it's okay to not know when things will be done, but what's important is that you keep working on it. Don't get burnt out. Take breaks. Know when to step away. If you feel like you're getting too frustrated with the work, maybe that's a good time to get eyes on it. But well, I'm still figuring this out too. And that's a big point of this video, is I don't know everything when it comes to writing. Far from it. I'm still learning. And I wanted to thank you all for joining with me on this adventure. I've loved reading your comments and talking back and forth with each other in the comments. You all have such great story ideas, very inquisitive minds. I've had some fantastic conversations of people wanting to go deeper, learn more about the craft, understand more about the characters. So thank you for joining me and going beyond entertainment, in going deeper in storytelling, to not just write good stories, but to grow as artists. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with feeling like you're never going to get to the end of your writing journey for this particular project? This project has taken so long. But I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like you just won't reach your journey's end with the project that you're working on? Maybe a bunch of ideas keep popping to your mind while you're in the middle of writing a 5-book series that you do not have time to hop over to the 4 other story ideas that are also rattling around in your brain. But how do you keep focused on your current story? How do you keep motivated to keep going? And this isn't about writer's block. I have a whole nother video where I talk about writer's block symptoms, how to diagnose it, what to do with it. This is for those of you who are motivated to work. You've been deep in this project for a while and it feels like it doesn't end. I know I'm not the only one who's out there feeling like this, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I just don't know how far away the entrance of the tunnel is, but for this project, I can see the light at the end. And it's keep going. If you feel stuck, keep going. Take breaks, take care of yourself, of course, but keep going. Your project is worth finishing, not because of the project, not because you want to be published, not because you want to make money with your book, not because you just want to prove that you can write a book, but actually completing such a large artistic work. You're the art. You're the person that's going to be impacted the most by doing this project. So keep going. I'm going to keep going. Let me know if you guys are in this moment or have ever experienced this. Oh my goodness, will this ever end? Can I actually finish this project? Let me know what's helped you down in the comments below and keep the conversation going. I want to hear from you. I love reading your comments and replying to them and hearing what you all have to say. So, thanks for joining me on this rant. I know this video is a little bit different than normal, but I just thought I would share where I'm at because it's easy to feel alone when you're a writer. It's a very lonely craft. And I think the biggest hurdle we have to overcome is feeling like we're the only one. So if you're struggling with your work, you're not the only one struggling with your project. You're not the only one feeling like it's never going to end and you're ever going to finish it. And no matter how much time and energy and stubbornness you put into it, things still keep changing. I have heard a phrase time and time again that art isn't finished, it's just abandoned. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. But thanks for joining this journey and keep writing. Even when it's hard. It is work, but it's worthwhile work.